Welcome back, everybody, from the extended break here for week 1 of Marvel Rivals here at the NECC. I am still Shibby. That is CC over there to my...
No. Important distinction on that one.
Oh, that's Ceebee. Ceebee, my bad. Whoops, I got... My wires are crossed. I was doing NECC, then I got to CB. Yeah,
Look,
not the vibes. Not the vibes.
The vibes here are great, but I need to make an important distinction. I wasn't there, wasn't a part of that whole situation. That's totally different people.
That sounds like what someone would say if they were there. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I didn't realize, we have some time to riff. That must have been kind of a nightmare for you. Like, hey, you get randomly tagged in hate mail. Like, wait, whoa, I'm the wrong one. We're one letter apart.
Not really. I think for the most part, people were already already locked in on the situation. But every now and then, someone like in a Twitch chat will come up and be like, "I almost called you a mean name, but then I realized you're a different person." I'm like, I'm staying out of it. Well, I'm not speaking on anything that happened. I ain't talking about none of it. Whatever, hands off. Just different person. Just don't mistake me for.
You're dodging it. You're dodging it like Neo, and hopefully our two teams today can dodge some skill shots and some ultimates, as we do have our second series of the night, Texas A&M Gray versus ATU Esports, or ATU Green. Our rosters are down there. Shadvin, Robotunes, your boy Squeak, Lil Red Corvette, Love Squirrels, and Dizzard for ATU Green. And on Texas A&M Gray side, Asian Panda, America, Chaos Nix, Century Aces, Lariat Donald, and Hans Olo Hub. Your boy Squeak is taking it for the best name in my book right now.
I'm kind of on board with your boy Squeak there. I think this game, by the way, again, we're still in Division 4, but looking at the peak ranks of a lot of these players, we might be in for another banger between some of these teams. We got a lot of GMs and a lot of Celestials in the house today, and these are teams that could potentially contend with Division 2 or even some of the lower tier Division 1 teams, and we get to see them going head to head for Division 4, and it's a treat to get to kick off the season with back-to-back bangers. At least I hope I'm not cursing it this way, and seeing how we go. Maybe we can get more than 3 maps this time around. I feel like the curse goes on a schedule. It's normally me and Keg's week, so we might get another 3-0, but maybe we're lucky. Maybe we can split it down the middle.
Might be right. I mean, even though Series 1 is a 3-0, it was still had some banger potential. The map 2, map 3, very, very close between Trent University and UAlbany Gold. UAlbany Gold taking it in overtime, both of these last 2 maps. But we are going to be moving on to Domination. I have gotten word from Jarvis themselves saying Celestial Husk is still banned out. Now, Ceebee, crazy guess, what map do you think we're going to for Domination?
Do you want me to actually guess, or do you want me to just say the one that I already know we're going to? Because it's not.
Break the movie magic a little bit. What are we actually going to?
All right, we're going to Krakoa. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the one that got picked there. Yeah, it's Krakoa. Most banger soundtrack, by the way. Sorry to all my Arako lovers there, but you got to give Krakoa time to cook a little bit, and it builds up, and then it's bam, that's heat. I'd be lifting in the gym to the Krakoa map music.
I think Krakoa is also one of the most visually pleasing maps because of all the different ones. If you make it through all 3, all the different colors, I do say that, but we do have the museum map that's coming in later in a couple of weeks. We'll be in the comp scene here. That map is also very beautiful to look at, all the different colors and stuff. But for right now, Krakoa is just beautiful. A lot of different ways you can attack the map as well. It's a 3-lane map for Domination. You can go through main. There's obviously a lot of flank routes for certain dive heroes. You've also got a lot of good long lanes for stuff like Hella, Phoenix, if they get let through. I think Krakoa really is a test for teams on how good they are on a multitude of different heroes.
And unlike that new map, Museum of Contemplation, there's no duck-shaped flotation device that you have to stay physically Velcroed to for the entire duration of the point in order to stay contesting it. Just got to stay in that nice little circle area, and, teams pretty much figured that one out, but my ranked teammates still quite haven't figured out how to stay on that damn duck floaty.
Yeah, I mean, they'll fix it. I'm sure. Like, there's no way. Like, NetEase is very tuned into the community. I'm very sure they've heard the hundreds, if not thousands, of complaints on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. I was
telling you before. We were talking about this map before we started casting today. I was talking about one of my ranked experiences. I lost a game earlier today because I had a Cloak and Dagger on my team who popped Eternal Bond to try and go in and contest, and they slammed right into the side of it, and they weren't touching, so it was just like, OT's over. You lose. And I'm just like, man...
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger is coming back into the meta as well, so it's kind of exposing some of the maybe fake support or fake strategist players that like, oh, like I'm just gonna play Gambit Invis, I'm gonna play them, and I'm gonna play what's meta.
It's not even their fault. Like you can't go up in the ults. Like, what are you gonna like? No, you're just stuck going horizontal, so you just slam face first in the side of the raft, and you can't go. Like,
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Long give me my elo back.
I don't even get my elo back when someone leaves my games. I think that's been my biggest issue. It's not people getting on to the cart. It's actually getting people to play a full match of Marvel Rivals and not tilting. That's been my biggest challenge, and hopefully we'll do something about that here. The leavers, just give me my elo back. I don't care if they get punished. Like, just give me my elo back, please. Like, I don't want to lose minus 25 because somebody decided, hey, first team fight, I'm just going to start jumping off the map here. But unfortunately, you can't really do that in Krakoa, as well as I'm interested to see what these teams have been paying attention to. I feel like last series we kind of got what we expected, right? Gambit was opened up, you know, teams were playing Gambit. We saw triple support from Albany. We didn't see a whole lot of Loki, but that was kind of because Moon Knight was in play. Do you think we'll get more of the same? Do you think we'll see any Deadpool? Because we unfortunately didn't see any last series.
We saw a flash of a Lord icon, you know, just for a little bit of aura farming, but we didn't actually get to see any Deadpool in play. And to be honest with you, like, people rate both Stratpool and Vanpool pretty highly, but we don't actually see him coming out a whole lot because there are just so many stronger things in play right now. Like we mentioned, Cloak and Dagger, Gambit, especially when it comes to the strategist. Like, you know, the strat pool is like maybe the third, fourth thing that you're reaching for, maybe even fifth if you count like, you know, Luna, Invis. Rocket is also still strong in a lot of situations. And when it comes to the Vanguard lineup, you've got people who could just completely run the lobbies, shut down 90% of things with their ultimates. You've got your Magnetos, your Doctor Strange, who just got a huge buff, and a lot of people are making do with those Eye of Agamotto plays. Emma's always going to be strong. Venom's already going to be strong. The Thing is S tier, so even the strongest forms of Deadpool, sadly, I kind of feel like there's just not enough room at the top for you, boy.
Yeah, it just gets crowded out by pretty much everything. Also, a handful of those heroes you mentioned pretty much counter whatever Deadpool wants to do the moment he ults, whether it's the big test, whether it's the other one. If you're trying to get your jackpot, like if the thing's in play, you're not getting your jackpot, unfortunately. No dashes, no jumps, nothing like that. You're kind of just sitting there waiting to get clobbered out.
One of my favorite things to do, though, has been to use the Ponage Pound / Ban Hammer to just delete a Jeff. If you just put it on a Jeff, he cannot spit at all, or he just dies. Because it's not a beam projectile. Some of you guys might not know this. Jeff's primary fire is actually like a bajillion tiny little projectiles that go out in an arc, so it's like the illusion of water. So every little single molecule of hydrogen dioxide that goes out there is a death nail for that little shark boy, that little chud son. He got to keep his mouth shut or he's done.
Yeah, you essentially just remove healing from Jeff. Like, it is kind of sad, but we'll see. I'm interested if any teams are like, you know, willing to bust out the Deadpool. Since the seasons have gotten a little bit shorter, I feel like, you know, when a new hero releases, people aren't confident enough to take it out unless it's like absolutely broken, like Gambit, for example. People are not confident enough to bust it out until they get like a season and a half, maybe until the meta kind of shapes up around it. Deadpool, one of those heroes that I think just needs a little bit more time in the kitchen as we do get into the ban phase here and Hela being removed. And I think these bans will probably mirror a lot of what you'll see in like higher elo solo queue. I was saying Celestial, Eternity Plus. No Hela, no Groot, no Phoenix potentially. No Magic though. That's a really good scouting job from ATU Green there, because Chaos Nyx is a Magic one trick.
I just shouts out, by the way, to your scouting, because I just pulled up the spreadsheet you gave me and I was like, hang on, you don't just see Magic bans in organized play unless there's someone in the lobby who is very proficient at it. So likely, we're probably going to see that backup pick coming out from the side of ATU Green. Chaos Nyx most likely going to pick up the Wolverine, and that's something that Texas A&M probably feel a little bit more safe and secure in dealing with, especially when you have the Phoenix for a little bit of damage. You still have some options to try and pick and ban around it. There's the Bucky that just got protected by the other side, so you are definitely going to have that option as well. Just for those of you maybe checking in, not familiar with how the ban system works, these are the MRC ban systems, so all of these bans and all of these protects are universal. Every single ban you go for, neither team can play it. Every single protect you go for, though, means it's on the field for both sides. So that Bucky, both teams are going to have that opportunity to leverage.
Ooh, there's the Loki ban, and we're what, 4 bans in now, and I have not seen a Gambit being removed from play here. It kind of feels like chicken from both of these teams. Like, oh, are you going to ban it? Or am I going to ban it? Are we going to save it? Like, I think neither team feels good about banning the Gambit. I'm really interested to see if they're going to run the Gambit Invis combo. This save is probably really crucial for ATU Green. I suspect it's going to be something like a Strange, potentially the Gambit if they're willing to pull the trigger here. I'm really interested to see. Moon Knight, though, going to be the one on the map here. Both series now have protected Moon Knight. I think they're onto the sauce, Ceebee.
Well, and so that kind of puts, Texas A&M in kind of a weird situation. They're going to protect the Gambit. I was going to say they have to either ban now Gambit or Groot, but if they're going to protect the Gambit, that means this last ban should, in theory, be Groot to try and shut down that Wombo combo. Otherwise, they're going to have to deal with that. And yeah, they saw that one coming a mile away. Again, same thing that we saw all series long in our first series of the day. You want to play the Moon Knight? Fine. You want to have the Hand of Khonshu built up every time you sneeze? Fine. But you're not going to be able to lock us in a strangling prison. We're going to be able to escape from your wrath.
Yeah, and it sucks for ATU Green because they also banned away the other, like, pretty solid combo. There's the strat pool, being removed. Texas A&M. Yeah, that's a good scout from them as well on ATU Green. I like that strat pool ban. Like I said, I wanted to bring up the point for ATU Green. They did ban away the Angela, which I think Heaven's Retribution is like the second best ultimate to combo Hand of Khonshu with, because it's kind of like Strangling Prison if you can land it onto multiple members. So they don't really have that combo ability. We have just been seeing people use it with the Doctor Strange ultimate, the Eye of Agamotto. But with the Moon Knight being saved, again, I'm interested to see if Texas A&M and ATU Green are just going to match Moon Knight for Moon Knight, or is it going to be 3 support? Is it going to be 2-2-2? Are they kind of kept up on the times? A&M, though, opting in for Gambit and Cloak and Dagger. Ceebee, do you think it should be Gambit Invis for them?
Honestly, right now, I'm kind of on board the Cloak and Dagger train. Like, Gambit Cloak and Dagger, I think, is just as good, if not better, than the Gambit Invis, especially when neither team, especially, I was going to say when neither team is using the Magneto, but then I realized they both have Magneto, so I'm going to kind of double back on that. I actually kind of think now with the Magnetos in play, unless you can be able to utilize the mag bubbles, if you can coordinate well enough around that ultimate, like we didn't really see a lot of last time, the Invis might actually prove to still be the dominant main healer out of these two, but you can't underestimate the utility of a Terror Cape, and you definitely can't underestimate the surprise factor of a good Strange TP for an early forward position. ATU Green gonna get themselves on point first.
I feel like a lot of pro teams we've been seeing use the portal. They'll use to try to kidnap somebody, right? Like they'll walk through the portal, you'll take them down immediately, and that's the first fight win. This is much more of a classic old school kind of portal, as we do see America on the Phoenix get taken down immediately. Little red Corvette and your boy Squeak dumping the damage into Texas A&M Gray, and that early portal, that early forward position leads them to that first fight win.
Also leads them to a Hand of Khonshu early on from your boy Squeak, despite Chaos Nyx keeping up with 75% of his own there to that ultimate. Your boy Squeak is going to have the advantage, and I wonder if Texas A&M are going to have this one scouted out. They should surely know that if Chaos Nyx is as close to his ult as he is, your boy Squeak has to be there. The element of surprise, it's kind of 50-50 right now, but you can tell he wants it right now. He is cautioned for it, gonna let it rip the Ankh for a little bit more pull, and he gets a beautiful two-piece. And with Han Solo being one of the two that gets taken down there, you can't afford to take this fight. This one's a wash.
Yeah, your boy Squeak has been playing quite a bit of Moon Knight, at least in Season 6 here.
He's 50% to another one, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's disgusting, right? That obviously leads him to a kill. And your boy Squeak takes down Chaos Nyx, and that's another Moon Knight 1v1 achieved here. And your boy Squeaks is just getting very aggressive, understanding that there's very little return damage. And there's another Hand of Khonshu.
Yeah, he just completely beats Chaos Nyx with a punch, laps him with the second one, and this one not gonna find much of anything, but still splits Texas A&M, and so Little Red Corvette with a Rata Stern shot gonna take down Lariat Donald. Gonna be rezzed back up, but again, BRB is a major resource that you've already burned out. Your boy Squeak is just getting so much damage, building up these ultimates so fast that, TAMU Gray, they can't even track it.
25% right now, and the other thing that they must be paying attention to is ATU Green. With those two team fights, 80% of the ultimate or the point has been taken, as we do see Gambit not folding. Sentry Aces does pop that Royal Flush. Love Squirrels is going to kindly respond with the invisible boundary. We do see Eye of Agamotto lapped in with the Eternal Bond here, lands onto multiple members, and Chaos Knicks finally able to get their first hand of Conchu and their first couple elims, layering it on top with the Eye of Agamotto. But Texas A&M, they threw everything in the kitchen sink for that team fight win. 95% for ATU Green. That's one team fight away from winning this round.
Yeah, but it might be a while. I mean, actually, no, it's not going to be a while. Actually, they've got the Raging Royal Flush. They were able to hold on to that one. I was going to say, we were so starstruck with the Moon Knight ultimate charge, we weren't paying attention to the Raging Royal Flush, but you've got to keep your eye on the Gambit when he's on the field. There's a BRB, or sorry, a Cosmic Yarn Amplifier from America to try and keep Texas A&M in the fight, but they lose Chaos Knicks so early.
Ooh, nice. Eye of Agamotto lands onto two strategists for Texas A&M, and that Kraken impact not even really needed. Still guaranteeing the eliminations. 99%. Lariat Donald has swapped over to the TP. I just don't think they have enough time. Yeah, you might as well just save it here.
They don't. Little Red Corvette though, so nice with it. You see those shots onto the
yes,
onto the on the Moon Knight coming down. Just those little extra bits of damage that come through. The tracking and the leading, the targeting is so crisp and clean, and it looks so good right off the bat there from ATU Green. Your boy Squeak, you know, how many times we got to say it? Bro's got another hand of Conchu. 10k damage off of just one round of Krakoa. We're only one round deep, and he is already in 5 digits. He might be in 6 by the time we get through all 3.
I apologize to my solo queue teammates today. I will be locking Moon Knight and just trying to play it as much as I can. I have been inspired. I knew Moon Knight had the sauce, but I mean, your boy Squeak is just doing amazing things on it. We even saw it in last series. Just crazy, crazy Moon Knight plays. I believe this is his 3rd hand of Conchu in 2 rounds of play, essentially 3 team fights. Yeah, your boy Squeak is going to open up with this. Though ATU Green don't have a lot of ultimate economy to work with, unfortunately for Texas A&M, because they overinvested on that fight win, they actually have nothing to carry over into this second point here. This means ATU Green, I think they should be able to take this first point fight, all things considered.
Well, there's going to be the teleport from Texas A&M to get themselves onto the point first, and crucially onto ATU Green's side there, but there's the on from your boy Squeak. He doesn't even need to farm up the damage for the new ultimate because he's got the hand of Conchu, splitting off the Gambit from the rest of the team there, and good heals from America to try and keep Sentry Aces alive, but again, now the strategists are so far away from the rest of the team, so watch the front line's health bars fall.
Very, very well played from your boy Squeak, going for that more assassin-style Moon Knight. And that's the big thing. I will say this as this team fight wraps up. Moon Knight can be played in very different play styles. Fundamentally, yeah, sure, he's an easy hero, right? You shoot the Yonk, you throw it down, but there are multiple styles you can play. You can go from the more brawl front line style that we saw earlier, or we can go for this, where he's going for the assassination onto the supports, onto the strategists. Being able to weave between those two play styles seamlessly is what's causing your boy Squeak just get so much more value. Another hand of Conchu, by the way.
Yeah, the angles are just so good, too. There's that hand of Conchu, and again, it's going to split up Texas A&M. It's going to force out the Raging Royal Flush as well, but Dizzard, 3% away from one of his own, should be able to mirror that one, but there's an invisible boundary now going to come out from ATU to try and give themselves a little bit more breathing room so they don't have to invest that Royal Flush just yet. Chaos Knicks, though, investing that hand of Conchu is going to take Dizzard down, so the Royal Flush will not be happening just yet, as Chaos Knicks is going to be the one getting the res from the BRB there, but your boy Squeak is still just running roughshod over the entire front line, halfway to another hand of Conchu, and your boy just will not be shut down. Takes the duel with Chaos Knicks, takes his life, takes his lunch money, takes his girl, and takes another handy handful of percentage onto the point for ATU Green.
It's your boy, Skinny Squeak here, coming in for ATU Green, just taking out Texas A&M Gray, but they do have 4 ultimates available. Eye of Agamotto, Eternal Bond, CYA. We do see Robo-Tunes, though, taking the initiative, lands the Eye of Agamotto onto multiple strategists for Texas A&M. Unfortunately, nobody does go down. Dizzard does pop the Raging Royal Flush. Eternal Bond gets used, or will be used, hopefully pretty soon. Never mind. Multiple members have already gotten down. Another hand of Conchu. I mean, I'm just going to get tired of saying it at this point, Ceebee.
Yeah, and I bet Texas A&M are going to get tired of dealing with it. Meteor M now going to come out from Asian Panda, taking down Love Squirrels. That's a pretty high-value KO, but he doesn't have the HP to follow up on it. And 98%, is there going to be a touch? I believe America is there on the point. Handa Conchu from Chaos Nix will take down Dizzard, but ITU Green not out of the fight. They think they can turn this, and Little Red Corvette is going to do just that. And a little bit of BM just trying to shoot the BRB, prevent the res from coming out, but it's not going to be enough. Texas A&M with the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier should be able to close out this fight and finally, mercifully, get themselves on the board here on Carousel. But second verse, same as the first. What did it cost you? Everything.
Yeah, Texas A&M have nothing coming into this next team fight. They've got to play perfect Marvel Rivals here, and saving grace potentially is that Lariat Donald is at that 55% mark for the Eye of Agamotto, but I wouldn't even put it past Love Scrolls and ATU Green to aggressively pop this invisible boundary and just take down whoever's stuck in it. There's not much you can do, and by the time they're out, your boy Squeak, 60% on that Hand of Conchu. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to farm it up and win this next team fight. A really dominant position. Asian Panda, though, does take down Love Scrolls. That's a big ultimate not being available for ATU Green. One strategist as well, Dizzard, 80% on that Raging Royal Flush, 90% on this Hand of Conchu, and he's built it up, and he's gonna drop it, separating the supports from the tanks in a 1v1 between the two Moon Knights. Chaos Nix needs to win this, and there we go. Takes him down. Red Toons takes down America. Here comes the invisible boundary that I talked about as Love Squirrels spawns back in. I have Agamotto, though, from Lariat Donald lands onto 4 members, but there's no follow-up. Your supports, your DPS are down. There's just nothing left. No gas left in the tank. 99% for ATU Green, and that should be the round. Ooh.
Chadvin is going to be the hero of that fight. Chaos Nix wanted to try and follow up that Eye of Agamotto with the Hand of Conchu, but he got shut down. He's not going to have it. There's going to be a BRB to get Sentry Aces back on the point, but there's no one touching it in time, and the Hand of Conchu is not going to land in time. Chaos Nix just got completely MK gapped. We gotta say it. Your boy Squeak just putting the entire team on his back, showing what this Moon Knight can do, and carrying them to one of the easiest Krakoa victories I think I've ever seen.
19-3-0. Not a crazy scoreline by any means, but the fact that this map went so quickly, I mean, 10 finals, Little Red Corvette as well, I mean, picking up some of that slack. 9 finals, 20 elims, like both of these two in tandem worked very, very well together. And I know we kept the camera a lot on your boy Squeak for good reason. I mean, he farmed like 6 or 7 Hand of Conchus, but really, really well played from Little Red Corvette, landing a lot of those crucial shots that you mentioned, Ceebee, onto the counterpart. They both ran 2-2-2 compositions. Unfortunately, the DPS duo for ATU Green coming out on top. And I am suspecting that Texas A&M is going to ban the Moon Knight out. Maybe, I don't know what gave it away, but that's what I'm just guessing.
I would also try and avoid maybe going to the usual suspects for map picks as well. You know, maybe don't go to Central Park, maybe don't go to Midtown, maybe any map where Moon Knight has historically been particularly strong. You either gotta insta-ban him or you are going to be running right into the same trap over and over and over again. And you know, we can even talk about what happens next, even if you get that Moon Knight off the field. We can talk about whether or not Moon Knight is a mechanically intensive hero. Don't really got to aim with him. You just take the angles, let the onks do all the work. But you still got, like you said, Little Red Corvette, who's just so nice with it. The shots always just on point, just pure mechanics there on the Bucky, putting on a show. And that is a formidable front line that you can't really plan to ban out both of them and still be able to get away with banning out that magic like we talked about.
Yeah, there's a lot to contend with here, as well as Little Red Corvette does have a pretty interesting bag, right? The Bucky also plays the Moon Knight. If that gets banned out, has an Iron Man in his back pocket, which could be really interesting to see. Your boy Squeak also plays Bucky, right? So they can swap between each other. And like you mentioned, banning both of those out, you leave so much open. ATU Green, right now, they're in a power position in my mind. Draft-wise, they don't really have to change too much up. It's Texas A&M that has to re-go back to the drawing board, look at the bans, understand what they need to do. As we are going to Kunlun, yes! I love this map, by the way.
I'm a big Heart of Heaven enjoyer. I gotta be honest, I didn't like it all that much when it first came out, but I kind of came around to it because one of the things that always kind of gets me about maps like Central Park is the way that, you know, the destructible cover kind of rebuilds itself and it just completely like messes up team fights. But Heart of Heaven, you got the smoke, you've got the ability to kind of just like lurk in the smoke. It's the only thing that rebuilds itself. You've got the crazy attacker and defender spawns on point B that make it some of the most exciting rivals play that you will ever see. And if we see these two teams, step up to one another, try and get rid of that MK gap, we might actually get to see just that. ATU Green, like you said, they don't got to change up their ban phase. They just got to ban the Magic outright again. Ball now going to be in Texas's court. Are they going to go for... Yeah, of course they're going to go for the Midnight ban.
Yeah, but now we just save Bucky here if I'm ATU Green, unless they're going to try to save something else. That's a nice save, Texas A&M, keeping that Thor for Garlo.
It's the second Thor save we've seen today.
Yeah, Garlo, that indicates to me that Garlo will be coming in. I'm interested to see who's going to be subbed out here. America was in for that first map. Maybe they'll be back to their sub position. It's tough. I think if I'm ATU Green, though, I save the Bucky and we just go with it. I do love the Groot save. Defensively, on point 1 specifically, you can hide that Ironwood wall behind that big bridge or whatever that is, that building, and no one can really walk past you. You can't really get CC'd. I love that. Also taking away the Angela. This is also a very good Angela map. I forgot about that.
Yeah, especially point A. Point B as well because of the verticality of it. Like, Angela... Very strong on Heart of Heaven. I think that's a good ban. Texas A&M with a Bucky ban. So, okay, they get the 2-for-1 special there when it comes to frontline. I very much so like this for Texas A&M. So they're not going to have access to that Magic. I'm curious, though, is this Protect going to be on the Wolverine? Because you have a tasty, juicy, succulent tree to snack on if you're Wolverine. And we know that's the backup pick. If they can't have Magic, they're going to want to have the Wolverine. Who knows what they're going to have, because they don't have any control over it anymore. They have missed the Protect, and that opens the door for ATU Green to go ahead and go for that Wolverine ban, keep that Groot nice and safe. Bit of a misplay in the ban phase there.
Technically, a no save is kind of a save because you're saving something. They just don't know what you're saving, right? Invis does get saved here for ATU Green. I would just ban the Wolverine out. That's probably the biggest thing. Maybe the Punisher if you're really stuck on playing this Groot, if you're like hard-headed and you want to force Groot on point A, B, and C there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Wolverine is a much more doable matchup now as long as you're in that Ironwood wall range. They are going to end up taking away the Venom. I like that. A lot of verticality that you mentioned, Ceebee, also works in the favor of this Venom. But with the Hela being banned out, do we see an Iron Man from Little Red Corvette?
Possibly, but there's also a lot of other things to consider. Gambit made it through alongside Loki, and we can already see, a Gambit on our screen. 2 of them, as a matter of fact, the same 2 suspects as before. Neither team reaching for the Loki, instead going back for that Cloak and Dagger on one side. Love Squirrel's going for that Invisible Woman on the other. And there's, like you said, there's Garlo coming in. Yeah,
Garlo's gonna take over. America was in for that first map here, but
don't say take over America.
Yeah, well,
Garlo is going to sweep the nation, bro. Is taking over America.
Couldn't be any worse than what we have right now, as Garlo is gonna be on the Thor. Yeah,
you run the show, Garlo. I trust you.
Yeah, you run it. You play. You're a Thor player. Respectable. That's a respectable tank player.
It's a real
the big thing
to note right there.
The big thing to note for this map, at least on point A, is that middle building, the high ground specifically on that. This is where a lot of hit scans like to play. This is where you're going to see a lot of dive heroes or people contend. Whichever side, whether it's the offense or the defense, whoever has control of this specific building generally tends to win the round. Once it gets flipped, which usually is a matter of can you snipe somebody out, can you get the dive going, Chaos Nyx does have that initial, as I say that, falls down. One of the supports has to be looking up there, by the way. Like, you have to consistently help your duelist here, as we do see a Phoenix and a Wolverine for your boy Squeak and Little Red Corvette. 2 heroes that were not on the scouting report.
No, but they do also have that team up, though, so that Wolverine going to be nice and topped up on the HP when he goes in. Finally finds his prey, but a lot of space already given up in favor of ATU Green, so they're already able to get their meat hooks on the point there. Good kidnap onto Garlo. Welcome to the series, my friend. You'll get a BRB for your troubles, but you're going to have to lick your wounds before you come back into this fight, my friend. He's going straight for your boy Squeak as soon as he comes back, too, but the support is there, the team up, the passive, so much going your boy Squeak's way. He can just let those claws fly. He's lost Dizzard, and Invisible Boundary is going to be forced out from ATU early on here, so we have to try and make this worth our while now.
Yeah, they've got to at least try to get some percentage here, investing that early strategist ultimate. But Garlo takes down Corvette. It's a 5v5 at the moment. Asian Panda, though, not swapping over to the Strange, is stubbornly sticking on to the Magneto. Garlo, using the God of Thunder to get himself out of a sticky situation, ends up dropping the hammer onto Shadven, and ATU Green's offense should be stifled. 39% though does get taken. They do get something for that early invisible boundary that you mentioned.
You call out the lack of the Strange swap, though, and I like the discipline for ATU to not go for that just yet. Now we're going to see RoboTunes making that swap for a little bit of extra shielding, and you should still have that opportunity should you need it. But now being on the Strange in this next fight, or if you end up in an OT fight, you have to make sure RoboTunes is the first to die so you can use that teleporter. Otherwise, this pick might all be for naught.
Triple support for Texas A&M. CYA does get used immediately, and it gets taken down immediately. Bit of a terrible placement there out in the open. We're going to see if A&M is going to commit to something else. Here comes the Raging Royal Flush. Dizzard, I believe, wasn't able to get theirs off in time. And Shadven, one way or another, popped the clobbering time. Unable to find anybody, though. Little Red Corvette, last stand comes in for your boy Squeak. Does pick up a couple members. Shadven as well coming in. Unfortunately, Texas A&M do have the numbers advantage here. No supports. Drizzard is back in spawn, and Garlo takes down Shadven. 2 fights and a minute and a half now on the clock.
Was a good ultimate there that comes out from your boy Squeak, but also a little bit of counter synergies. You saw the clobbering time come out, and I mean, Shadven really wanted to try and confirm the KO off that, but yoink, no, your boy Squeak just takes that gambit for a ride, and they weren't able to confirm the cleanup there, so they had to invest the ultimates. Now we're making even more swaps here. Shadven onto the Rogue, trying to go a little bit more divey, a little bit more CC, try and keep this Thor in check. His health bar is low, but the support is there, and he still has the God of Thunder if he needs that bailout, and he's going to use it now.
God of Thunder lands onto a couple stuns somebody. Is he actually going to be able to get the elimination, though, onto the Phoenix? Garlo going very deep. Good supports from Texas A&M to keep him up here. And I like the strategy from ATU Green, as we do see an Aya Bagamoto land onto 4 members of Texas A&M, and that could just blow the point completely open. We do see Texas A&M do still have the availability on that Strange if ATU Green can actually clean everybody up. Hansel, though, does pop the Eternal Bond. Asian Panda with the Meteor M as well. Unfortunately, not able to land onto anybody, but it's still going to stall point. And we do see Chaos Knicks swap over to the Strange Portal. They're going to come back in round 2 onto the point against ATU Green as Rogue Shadven pops the ultimate.
He's got the Heartbreaker on deck, but everybody seems to have evacuated, but he's going to be able to find Asian Panda back onto the point where the fight is kicking off. Ensong Inferno going to come out from Little Red Corvette, and with a little bit of help from the rest of the squad, that should be Texas A&M getting cleaned up, mopped up off at this point, but Garlo's not done. Gonna trade out a KO onto Love Squirrels, but nevertheless, that's 2 ticks coming out. The teleporter already burned, so it should be the full cap coming out as Chaos Knicks gonna be forced to make the swap off of that Doctor Strange, or is he gonna keep it and try and mirror this front line here with a Strange on both sides? Again, I'm not a big fan of bringing the Doctor Strange out, and yeah, Chaos Knicks gonna actually make that swap over onto the Phoenix, because if you want to have that teleporter, again, you have to make sure that your Strange is dead, and if he's dead, he's not in the fight.
I do love this adaptation from ATU Green. Triple tank, right? Triple Vanguard into what is a 3 support composition from Texas A&M. And Shadven on the Rogue essentially plays kind of like a beefier dive duelist, right? That's kind of where Thor and Rogue...
It's Daredevil. It's literally just Daredevil, but better.
Yeah. Pretty much. His Gambit isn't going to fold here. Century Aces does end up popping the Raging Royal Flush. Big Aya Bagamoto once again from RoboTunes lands onto 3 members of Texas A&M, and that's the fight win. RoboTunes on this Strange. Back-to-back Aya Bagamotos.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like the Doctor Strange, he's not just the Uber driver anymore. I'm talking a lot about these teleport plays, but if you're gonna bring the Doctor Strange out, you're gonna want to leverage that Eye of Agamotto. Once upon a time, it was one of the strongest ultimates in the game, and with a couple of nerfs now, once again, it very well might be, if you can land it right where you need to, like RoboTunes has twice now, it will decide the fight for you. It will get more progress, and we're threatening that point B cap, and you can even see RoboTunes with that shield up, holding the door, trying to stop any anyone from getting in. Garlo is going to be felled, res, but the cap comes through, and we've denied the scrappy second point fight that on this map tends to bleed off so much of that clock.
Yeah, Larry O'Donnell sticking to this rocket, even though Phoenix is still in play. Like Little Red Corvette, by simply existing with their ultimate, essentially stops the biggest thing about what was a triple support composition. Century Ace is actually swapping over the Squirrel Girl. I love this, right? Triple tank, you want to go for that big AoE damage. Moon Knight not available. You can farm your ultimate very quickly. Functionally works the same like Moon Knight, just not as much damage and not as big of an impact ult here as we do see the Squirrel Girl throw down here. Garlo, God of Thunder, comes in as well. Unfortunately not landing onto anybody, no eliminations. And the Ensong Inferno is going to completely wipe everything off the floor. Texas A&M get completely destroyed here. Lariat Donald, buddy, swap off the rocket now.
Yeah, we can't be staying on that rocket when there's a Phoenix in play. The damage is just too good. And speaking of damage, the Squirrel Tsunami and the God of Thunder is a lot of damage coming at you real fast, but ATU Green are able to tank all of it and then some, and then return it tenfold with the Raging Royal Flush and the Ensong Inferno, and they get to hold on to 4 more ults to come into this next fight with, and they've now forced out the healing factor, so Chaos Nix cannot play aggressive on this Wolverine or he will get punished.
I'm looking for Shadvin here, looking to get that Heartbreaker going, trying to steal some of that ultimate charge, especially from Hansel, which is exactly what they're gonna do. That's gonna prevent any of these big support ultimates coming in. Shadvin is a rogue connoisseur, an expert on this hero, as you see them pilot their ultimate to a fight win. That's all they needed. ATU Green, fantastic job on that team fight.
That's gonna be, should be the full cap coming through. A token resistance there from Sentry, not able to get in. 37 seconds in the time bank for a Heart of Heaven full cap. You know, we do tend to see a lot of extra endings on this map, so it's not the end of the world, but once we kind of shifted into that last gear there, once we got past that really strong defensive hold on point A, it really never shifted back Texas A&M's way. ATU Green, they got themselves in the driver's seat. They kept their foot on the gas and they drove all the way non-stop, all gas, no brakes to the end of point B. And a lot of it was off the back of that Phoenix swap that we saw come out. Just completely, like you said, shut down the rocket play, shut down that Cosmic Yarn amplifier and any benefit you would have ever got from it. And also some of these weird swaps that we're seeing coming out as well, like, you know, the Squirrel Girl coming out in lieu of that Moon Knight. But I think we got, it's attack response, don't take the bait yet. Oh wait, no, we see there's a strap pull on the other side. We are going to see a Deadpool today.
Oh, my prayers have been answered. Thank you, Double G from the skies. We do get the Deadpool. Strategist pool, some would say the least interesting out of the bunch. Honestly, though, I don't think any version is boring, especially because of how quickly you can get that jackpot. That is a Lord,
That's a Lord icon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's scary. As we do see Texas A&M channeling their inner Deadpool as well. Triple support here. Pseudo, we'll call it. Garlo on this Thor. Sentry Aces as well. Chaos Nix on this Phoenix. Trying to just combat Little Red Corvette here. I'm really interested to see if ATU Green, if Robotoon specifically, can get those massive AoE Eye of Agamottos that we've been seeing getting time and time again. Although on the offensive, Garlo is just having his way with them.
Yeah, but there is the peel and the healing there. Shadvin going to be coming up on that ultimate here very shortly, and I like the idea of using the Punish Pound to potentially shut down the Phoenix on the other's team, because it does make it a skill shot. Anytime you miss a primary fire, you take damage, and you can make a Phoenix play scared. You can just completely ruin that confidence with one well-placed ultimate, but it looks like no, instead, we are going to be going for the final exam coming out here from Shadvin. That means ATU want to try and turn up the tempo, but Texas A&M are looking to match it.
They're both vying for their jackpots at the moment. I believe Shadvin is trying to save it for that last second. Asian Panda, though, unfortunately not able to get their jackpot. So both strat pool ultimates falling short by 1. I believe both of them were 6 out of 7.
Don't say that. And by the way, that's going to put them both on a roughly 35-second cooldown, give or take, and then a little bit more based on how well they do once they have their abilities back online. But speaking of abilities being online, both teams are going to have Invisible Boundary. Chaos Nix has beaten Little Red Corvette to the punch. And speaking of punch, a big one coming through. There's that Eye of Agamotto, just like you said, coming out from Robotoons, shutting Chaos Nix down. And ATU Green with a good start to a defense here.
God of Thunder comes in, answered in kind by Love Squirrel's Invisible Boundary, as we did hear a Raging Royal Flush come out from Century Aces. Unfortunately, Texas A&M on this offensive. 2 minutes have passed by, 2 team fights have happened, and nothing has gone their way so far. Dizzard, though, is channeling it, looking for it, potentially waiting for them to walk in. We'll see if the call gets made. End Song Inferno does get used. Shadvin is going to look to maybe match that final test here. Asian Panda using theirs does get the jackpot, I believe. Invisible Boundary taken by Hansel Hub. Your boy Squeak is looking for the Meteor M, unfortunately unable to land on anybody. Dizzard responds in kind, and here comes the final exam from Shadvin here. Can they get the jackpot, though? This is a battle of attrition, a battle of endurance, Ceebee. Eye of Agamotto comes in from Lariat, and a massive ultimate comes in, lands on the multiple members for ATU Green, but unfortunately, Little Red Corvette takes that to the grave as End Song Inferno wipes down Texas A&M.
That's going to be 1 minute 20 left in the time bank, and a healthy investment coming out from both sides, but still an Eye of Agamotto for the side of ATU Green, and we've seen how good Robotunes has been at just stopping these fights before they even start. He seems to like to go aggressive, try and find an early stun onto the back line, and Texas A&M never really have an answer to it, especially when all of ATU go all hands on deck and try and confirm that one. So you have to keep an eye on the Doctor Strange. Where is the Sorcerer Supreme? He is in your back line, and he has got an eye.
Takes down Century Aces, a beautiful bubble from Squeak to make sure that he doesn't get interrupted. And here comes Shadvin again with another final test. This guy is just building ultimate after ultimate. Unfortunately, isn't able to get the jackpot, but it doesn't matter. Texas A&M have to reset. They've only got 30 seconds. Century Aces actually ends up popping the Raging Royal Flush. Here we go. This is their moment. They've got to take down ATU Green right now.
Invisible Boundary is going to be online, though, but there's that final exam now coming out from Asian Panda. Like you said, trying to build up that jackpot. Eye of Agamotto from Lariat Donald. Texas A&M are draining the coffers dry. They want this one so bad, but a Meteor M with a Raging Royal Flush could shut it all down. An End Song Inferno from Little Red Corvette, but it's still a little bit blunt. But nevertheless, your boy Squeak takes down Asian Panda. Century Aces going to fall as well, and ATU Green are somehow coming up ahead despite Texas A&M throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this fight. It still belongs to ATU Green. Heart of Heaven will be going their way, and there ain't nothing Texas A&M can do about it.
Very well played from ATU Green here. A full stop, full hold 3-0 for them. And dare I say that last half was decided by the better Dead Bullier, because Shadvin multiple times was building up that ultimate much quicker. And there we go. There's the MVP.
Yeah.
That's my lad. That's my boy. There we go. Yeah. I mean, the game even said it, right? 31, 3, and 14. Now, obviously, not all accrued on the Deadpool, but did a lot of heavy lifting on that defensive-sided map.
Especially when you look at the damage numbers. That's why he's got the ace. That's why he's got the MVP. That's 13 final hits with 19k damage for a strategist, by the way. And a scant 15k healing. Still, you know, getting the better of Asian Panda in both of those stat lines. But you can kind of see that even as a strategist, you still kind of want to play Deadpool as a duelist. You just get so much ult charge off those bobbleheads as a strat pool that you can have that final exam ready to go. Or, you know, depending on who you're playing against. I'm still a believer in the Ponage Pound. That is my preferred weapon of choice, but maybe that's just because I don't like melee heroes, because I'm not built the way that these two are. And I don't think either, I don't know if Asian Panda is built the way that Shadvin is, because Shadvin, a little different.
Yeah. I mean, consistently getting those jackpots, throwing out the Lord Icon. I mean, just excellent strat pool play. Wonder if that's going to be removed into the next map here, as we will be going to Convoy for map 3. But Texas A&M just look a little lost, right? I feel like maybe a similar problem, and I'm sensing a similar theme here as we did in the last series. Texas A&M, you aptly put it, you know, draining the coffers, throwing everything they can into those fight wins, and not properly using their ultimates with intention. I think that's the big thing. ATU Green, every single time, Robotunes, it felt like they were planning those fights out. Hey, I'm going to use my Eye of Agamotto here. Make sure I have bubble. Make sure I don't get interrupted. Boom, there we go. Big ultimate lands onto multiple members. The follow-up is there from ATU Green. Okay, next fight, I'm going to use Ensong Inferno, or I'm going to use my big final test. Like, these are the things, these are the conversations you need to be having if you're Texas A&M, in my opinion.
And what it does when you're able to take the initiative like RoboTunes does with those ultimates is it applies more pressure to the enemy team. And when you're under pressure, you make worse decisions. Like you said, trying to throw everything. When your back is up against the wall, you can tell that overtime wick is about to flip over and you're going to be up against the clock. That's when you're like, I've got these ultimates. I need to use them or die. So you invest 3. But the team that's in the driver's seat, the team that made you have to make that call, they just say, we wait this out. And then we come back with our own ults. And then we win. And sometimes it's just that easy. When you were the team that sets the tempo, when you make the decisions, not have them made for you, you get the dubs.
Well, hopefully Texas A&M can come back from this short break with some decisive planning here. They're going to have a little bit of time. This will be a very short break, guys, as we head into map 3 between Texas A&M Gray and ATU Green. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very soon. Welcome back, everybody. Told you guys it was a very short break. I'm still Shibby. That's still Ceebee. We are back for map 3 between ATU Green and Texas A&M Gray. Could be the potential last map for Texas A&M, or could be the start of a beautiful reverse sweep. I'm not entirely sure, but we do get our map, and we get Spider Islands. We've been getting a lot of different maps. We've been getting
yeah. You know, maybe, okay, you know, we're getting a little bit of variety in the map pools, but the monkey's paw is curling, so we're not actually getting a lot of maps. But hey, you know, we're getting Heart of Heaven, we're getting Spider Islands. We got to see, what was the crazy one we got to see last series that we don't normally see? We got to see Symbiotic Surface coming out the gates. Like,
Surface.
A lot of, you know, we're finally free of the tyranny of New York. It's not just, you know, Central Park, Midtown every single time nowadays.
Yeah, and then throw Hydra Charteris base in there, my mortal enemy of this game. As we do get into pick ban here, Texas A&M. Wonder if they're going to be able to get away with banning the Moon Knight plus the Bucky again. I feel like there isn't one, other than maybe the Moon Knight, I don't feel like it's a hero issue for Texas A&M. It's more of just them not being able to adapt and kind of perform on some of the stuff they're picking. Do I have it right, Ceebee, or do you think there's just one hero other than Moon Knight terrorizing them?
I don't think it is a hero pick. I do think, you know, you do have to get some of these problem heroes off the table. You do have to try and get rid of that Moon Knight. I don't think you're particularly worried about the Thor Protect coming out from Texas A&M. You know, let them have their comfort hero there. Bucky Protect, though, from ATU, I think is also going to go a long way for them. Rather than trying to ban that outright, Texas A&M, they don't have that opportunity anymore. They now are going to have to face the wrath of Little Red Corvette, popping those Ratastern shots, rat-a-tat-tat, right down at you, and no Groot walls to block it.
Yeah, Mag Protect should be pretty crucial here, at least potentially dealing with that Kraken impact. The Protects have been really weird. I mean, I don't mind the Thor. I feel like they were doing pretty good. Texas A&M were kind of cooking on it, at least on the defensive side here. Now, it wasn't quenchable Thor, but it still was really good. Garlo was pretty proficient on that hero, getting a lot of those easy picks here. And Stratpool, once again, gets saved, but I don't know if that's the move, because that just means Shadvin is going to pick up Stratpool, no?
Most likely, and then you're also leaving a lot of things on the table right now that somebody is going to have to ban. Gambit is still on the field. Invis is still on the field. Loki is still on the field. Mantis is still on the field. There's still a lot of things that can, you know, take up that Stratpool's that Stratpool's game there. That if you want to try and invest in this pick and make it worth your while, you're probably going to have to try and reach for at least one of those bans. And I think with the Invis Protect, ATU Green have set themselves up for success. They have something to where they can be able to deal with those final exams that come out. There is a Phoenix ban that ends up coming out, and I think that opens up a couple of other interesting things. There we go.
Gambit being
there's the
as well.
So now I think the Stratpool Protect makes sense, but you did have to make sure that you invest that Gambit ban in order to make it make sense, because now you have either the Ponage Pound or the final exam to set the tempo a la the way you would with a Raging Royal Flush, and then you also have the Invis Woman Ultimate, the Invisible Boundary, to be able to parry anything that you need. You have your defensive utility as well. What I don't know about right now is this attacker spawn Vanguard lineup here with was that Thor Hulk that I'm seeing? No, that's Defender side, actually. That's Defender side. That's sticking. That's real.
Oh, and they're going to go with Mr. Fantastic as well. This is a brawl comp. Like, this is just, I'm going to run at you, big meatball, and we're going to see who wins. Like, this is just hands to the face. ATU Green, I don't think they're prepared for this, as well as they've got triple support. So they don't really have the damage to deal with these meatballs. I do love that Lariat is on that Mr. Fantastic with Han Solo on the invis to kind of, you know, take advantage of that team up. Chaos Nix on the Psylocke, though, that's the only thing that's out of place for me. Gonna be really tough to find any sort of value into triple support. Love Squirrels, though, taking a bit of a different route, a detour here. Maybe thought, I don't want to get pulled off by a Spider-Man or get shoved away. As Hulk, Sentry Aces is in. Gonna be tough to play it into a Bucky, though, as he gets frozen and taken down immediately.
Yeah. That's a Bucky, that's a Carbon Crush from the Emma that comes out, and I think a Freeze might have also come out from the Luna as well. Just 3 back-to-back instances of CC, and Bruce Banner is sent back to Baby Banner form, sent all the way back to spawn, and ATU Green gonna keep this forward march going. With Robotunes now on the Rogue, has the potential for even more CC to come out, and it's just disgusting stuff coming out from ATU Green. Your boy Squeak with that Kraken impact doesn't even need to find the damage, just needs to put the Fear of God, and a hook onto Garlo there. Gonna punish this god forever having messed with your boy.
It's interesting because Texas A&M have a brawl comp, but ATU is playing the 2 better brawl heroes. Like, you have Rogue and Emma on your side here. Like, they're just going to be able to walk right through you. The choke slam, obviously very, very good. Whether you landed onto Fantastic, Thor, or the Hulk, doesn't matter. And Rogue just seemingly is immortal because of how often she can get her abilities off, how much bonus HP she gets, and obviously the availability with that triple support lineup for ATU Green. It doesn't seem like she's going to be going down anytime soon here. Heartbreaker coming up in a bit. Han Solo Hub, though, does pop that invisible boundary. Fortunately, ATU Green, they will have to kindly respond with the fate of both worlds. And Asian Panda has popped the big test onto your boy Squeak, but it doesn't matter how many times he misses because he has Luna healing in his back pocket. Heartbreaker now gets taken down here. Shadfin takes down Han Solo Hub. Squeak takes down Asian Panda. And sure, the Dance of the Butterfly in the backline is able to take Little Red Corvette down, but it's not enough. ATU Green should just walk through this point 1 relatively easy, even though Mr. Fantastic is going to bounce on it crazy style.
Yeah, he's doing tricks on it for sure, but here's one trick that never gets old. It's a couple of shots to the dome from your boy Squeak, and another hook with a Trooper's Fist, the uppercut onto Garlo, and that should be enough for the cap, but your boy still got one in the chamber for Chaos Nix and is gonna let that one fly, and it just looks so good for ATU Green. You know, every time Texas A&M come out with something even a little bit competitive, you know, Asian Panda with that Ponage Pound, it doesn't matter because the healing is there. The strat ults are on deck. The ult usage from Texas A&M is still so scattershot. It's just not coordinated. ATU are operating on a totally different wavelength right now.
Yeah, they're locked in here. Chaos Nix gonna lock in that Hella now swing away from that Psylocke. Maybe looking to poke some of these individuals down. 2 headshots, and one of ATU Green's supports do go down here. Sentry Aces stubbornly sticking onto this Hulk. Pops the Monster Hulk. Did get a shadow buff here. Isn't able to get, you know, CC'd as much here. But it doesn't matter because you just can put a boatload of damage into him, and he's going to turn back into that mini Hulk form or in that Bruce Banner form. Asian Panda, though, does have the final test available. We'll see if he ends up popping it. I mean, ATU Green are, just like you said, operating on a different wavelength. Kraken impact available for Squeak here.
Yeah, and like, here comes the Ponage Pound. There's not going to be any strategist to try and, you know, heal that one up, but bro is not missing any shots. Your boy Squeak is a Deadeye right now with his finger on the trigger. He's got you in his sights. Robotune's taking down 2, and I legitimately, I don't think your boy missed a single shot from the moment that ultimate got placed on him, so that's another wasted Deadpool ultimate, the Heartbreaker from Robotunes, and another uppercut for Garlo. That's the point B cap, and I don't really think that Sentry Ace is going to do a whole lot about it.
I'll get you to your web, kid.
I got you covered. They hit a checkpoint.
Unfortunate for Texas A&M. They are for a lack of a better term, getting walked down by ATU Green. Like, ATU Green have not really pressed the S key. They have just been walking forward with impunity, and Texas A&M just don't have an answer. Invisible Boundary from Han Solo Love is available. It feels like they're gonna have to pop it. Donald as well on this Namor. Horn is available. Garlo on this Thor can drop the God of Thunder. They've got to combo something here, even with this team up with Chaos Nix. Armed and Dangerous comes in. Big Test gets put onto him, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to aim if his ultimate is just going to be the execution onto Texas A&M.
He's not going to be able to find the execution onto Garlo, but Garlo's still going to tuck his tail between his legs and get back into the spawn. There was so much aggression that came out there from ATU that no one was pushing the cart. So there is an opportunity at least for another fight for Texas A&M, and crucially, Han Solo did not pop the invisible boundary. So there is still defensive utility here. You don't have the threat of that Kraken impact and all the burst damage that could potentially come through. So I'd like to see this ultimate come out aggressively to try and reclaim this cart before things spiral way too far out of control. Little Red Corvette getting taken down there, huge from Century Aces, and there's the invisible boundary from Dizzard forced out, but this looks so good for Texas A&M now.
Yeah, their first fight win of this half. As I say that, though, Dizzard does take down Garlo, but they do have to back up. Texas A&M do have the man advantage. As I say that, though, ATU Green are spilling out of their spawn. Squeak takes down Chaos Nix, and the tides have turned. The tables have flipped. ATU Green now on the offensive with their own man advantage. Han Solo does have the invisible boundary. Century Aces is looking for the opportunity to use this Eye of Agamotto. There it is. Lands onto multiple members, Dizzard and Love Squirrels. Unfortunately, there's no follow-up, and Century Aces actually gets taken out in the back. He's too far deep. Doesn't matter because Little Red Corvette pops the CYA. Finally, Chaos Nix on this Hela. Goddess of Death used, but it's not going to pick up anyone here. And ATU Green, they are walking Texas A&M down into their spawn.
And without even a stain on their kicks. I mean, you saw that invisible boundary. We called it out 2 or 3 times from Han Solo. It just never happened. And I can understand that fear as a strategist player to be like, I've got this ultimate. I want to get the big ultimate. I want to save my entire team. But if I've already got a man or 2 dead, I can't pop this or it's just not worth it. So we just never get the opportunity to use it because anywhere you look, someone's dying. We're trying to go for these aggressive Eye of Agamotto plays, but everyone just turns and your boy Squeak pops a couple shots down range and we punish the aggression. Now we're down a man. Now we're too afraid to pop this invisible boundary, so we just never use it. Our defensive utility, not very defensive at all if it just never comes out. The only thing I saw was a blazing offense coming out from ATU.
Tides have turned here, and again, this could be Texas A&M's last round here. They are down 2-0 as the scoreboard aptly presents itself. ATU Green, mind you, held them on the Kunlun map. They weren't even allowed to get 1 point for Texas A&M here. And it feels like their hands are tied a little bit. The Moon Knight ban, sure, that's step 1, but how are you going to contend with everything that ATU Green is throwing at you? I mean, Squeak is just having a phenomenal series, whether it's on Moon Knight, whether it's on Bucky, doesn't matter what he's playing. He's just ripping Texas A&M apart piece by piece.
Sometimes when you're that damn good, you just can't ban a person like your boy Squeak, right? Like you can ban all the heroes in the book, but sooner or later he's gonna have to play something, and whatever it is, it's gonna be lethal. You can't ban your boy Squeak from the game, and on the Bucky, he has been phenomenal, just as he was, like you said earlier, on the Moon Knight. Punisher coming out from Chaos Nix potentially could be what changes the calculus here for Texas A&M. They've also got Han Solo on the Mantis as well, so a damage-boosted Punisher at that, and I don't know if that's something that RoboTunes really wants to tangle with right now, so I'd get out of there if I were you, my friend.
Yeah, damage-boosted Punisher with Lariat throwing down those Terror Capes could provide for a lot of damage overload. As I say that, though, Shadman does take down Chaos Nix. That's the 1 DPS for Texas A&M Gray. ATU Green not too far back as they push Texas A&M into their spawn as they only get the cart right around the corner.
And look what your boys got. The Kraken Impact is on deck. And again, this is it's gonna come down to the ult tracking for Texas A&M. Do they know that this threat is already lurking? And can they do anything about it, I guess, is the next question, because so far the answer to that one has been a resounding no.
Yeah, Would be a good opportunity for your boy Squeak to pop this. Chaos Nix, though, does have Final Judgment available. Shadvin, Meteor M kindly in respawn. Asian Panda has to make sure that he bubbles his Punisher. As I say that, though, here comes the Kraken Impact, and everybody scatter like ants. Texas A&M, you must tuck your tails and run into your spawn, be it you don't want to go down. Little Red Corvette, though, CYA does get popped. No BRB, though, for Robotoon, so it's a 5v6 for ATU at the moment. Texas A&M has to pop the Eternal Bomb, though. They take down the CYA finally. Dizzard, Invisible Boundary does get used here, so Texas A&M fighting into blindness. Nice freeze. God of Thunder coming out from Garlo, lands onto multiple members, but again, no follow-up. There's just no DPS, and that ATU green, that man disadvantage that they have, completely shored up. Century Aces now pops the Invisible Boundary. Should give A&M Gray a little bit more time. As I say that, though, Love Squirrels does burn the fate of both worlds here, and Little Red Corvette trying to survive, and in the meantime, your boy Squeak farms another Kraken Impact.
And it's going to be damage boosted off that Fate of Both Worlds as well. Garlo, though, able to find 2 from the back line. On a hunt on that Thor, is able to get away with a crime. Gonna come back to the rest of the team. That's gonna be a bunch of space able to be bought there for Texas A&M, so they may have finally broken the stranglehold on point A, and it's all thanks to Garlo, while everyone was looking at your boy Squeak, rightfully so. We should all be keeping our eyes firmly planted on the star of this show so far. Garlo, though, in the back line, making a star of himself and making quick work of Dizzard and Little Red Corvette, and this should be enough to at the very least threaten this full cap here, but ATU Green still have one more fight before the first point cap comes out, and they are going to have tools to be able to go for the retake here. Meteor M and Eye of Agamotto both on deck. Soul Resurgence and Final Judgment online for Texas A&M.
Robotoons completely whiffs the Eye of Agamotto, hits nobody here. Texas A&M, though, they are trying to contend for this cap, like you mentioned. Really smart from ATU Green to just walk here. Final Judgment comes in. Unfortunately, on top of the Mantis ultimate, the overshield going into Chaos Nix should allow them to completely tank the Meteor M, and he's just going to rip through ATU Green here. It doesn't matter that ATU walked to this point, because that first cap, that first point, going to go over to Texas A&M here off the back of Chaos Nix and Han Solo, and they're going to be able to do that every single time, Ceebee.
And it's good target prioritization from Chaos Nix as well. Sees that Little Red Corvette, sees that little raccoon pal in the backline, and realizes they're probably coming up on that CYA. I should probably focus backline here if this Final Judgment does just that, and snuffs out the rocket before he's able to get that ultimate that could have potentially saved the rest of his team's life. But without that amplifier, there's no overhealth, no healing, no nothing that can stop the judge, the jury, the executioner. That is Chaos Nix, but he needs to keep this tempo up. 2 minutes in the time bank. A good push there from Century Aces and Environmental onto Robotoons. You can see ATU, they understand, they have to respect that. That is their shield gone. They don't have space. They can't just tank all this damage from Chaos Nix now.
Yeah, that's going to give Texas A&M a lot of free distance here. It's already rounded that second corner here. CYA does get used, and we're going to see that combined with the Kraken Impact. Unfortunately, he's just taking way too much damage, and that CYA doesn't get around the corner, so you've got to fight it in a defensive position. It's taken out immediately. Love Squirrels instead. Gonna pop the Fate of Both Worlds. Meteor M from Asian Panda, unfortunately unable to get it down. Gets absolutely overloaded with too much damage. Century Aces, though, does pop the Invisible Boundary. Dizzard kindly responds. Eye of Agamotto from Robotoons lands onto 3. All strategists are hit by the Eye of Agamotto. Time has stopped, and that means the convoy has stopped for Texas A&M.
A minute 20 in the time bank. There's still an opportunity to try and brute force this the rest of the way, but ATU were able to hold on to some key resources. They didn't have the Kraken Impact or the Meteor M online just yet, but now they do, and they're going up against only a God of Thunder for Garlo. You have to try and build up to this next Final Judgment from Chaos Nix. That was what was able to break the dam in your favor on point A. Oh, what a push again from Century Aces, and the Trooper's Fist as well. It's gonna get rezzed up. Okay, it's not as big of a deal as we thought. It's still beautiful as an Invis main to see that, but your boy Squeak is now just gonna come back pissed. What happened to Garlo?
He flung himself into the great rivers of the island here as your boy Squeak is going to take that as the initiative to go for the reset. And what looked so good for Texas A&M in the beginning, they just throw it all away.
Down to 30 seconds.
I don't know if Garlo got pushed off there by Dizzard on the other side, and it just didn't give the KO credit there, but Asian Panda gonna get felled there with a little bit of cleanup damage, and with 20 seconds left, ATU Green, they understand again, they just need to play this far up. They cannot let Texas A&M get to the point, but now those ultimates are gonna start to come online. The Brute Force gonna come out, and your boy Squeak has been felled, and there's no BRB this time.
No BRB, Final Judgment and Soul Resurgence available as well. This was the combo that won them that first point, and it looks like Texas A&M are going to go back to that well. They have to. They don't have another choice here. Shadvin does have the Meteor M available, but even at fully charged, it's not going to be able to take him down. Judge, Jury, Executioner does get popped. This is the team fight here. Unfortunately, doesn't take anyone out. Love Squirrels, though, has the Fate of Both Worlds available. They can tank it with the CYA. Robo-Tunes, unfortunately, does get pushed back. Only lands the Eye of Agamotto onto Garlo. And we're going to see Century Aces have that Invisible Boundary available, ready to pop if they need it. Lariat Donald as well, using that Eternal Bond. A beautiful team fight from Texas A&M. And this time, they throw everything in the kitchen sink, and it should land them with the second point.
God of Thunder now going to come out from Garlo for a little bit of extra cleanup there, but like you said, yeah, this should be point B coming out for ATU. Your boy Squeak, though, on the Hella, putting a little bit more damage and some daggers down range, and he used the bird to fly over there onto the point, and hasn't been dealt with, will finally get taken down, but there's a couple more reinforcements coming out. There we go, the point B cap now going to come through, and it's off the back of two critical mistakes that come out for the side of ATU. That Final Judgment that comes out from Chaos Nix forces a layering of the Strategist ultimates. Love Squirrel and Little Red Corvette both pop their ults at the same time. You still have the Invisible Boundary from Dizzard, but the second mistake was they didn't protect the invis, so you were able to just go in with Garlo on that Thor, clean up that KO, and suddenly there's no defensive utility left, and Texas A&M are able to get another lease on life, but there is only a minute left on that life, and they need to try and make it stick, and Garlo might not be joining them if Robotunes has anything to say about it.
Robotunes swapping off of the Doctor Strange here, back onto the Rogue. Soul Resurgence at 70%. Chaos Nix does have that Final Judgment. So fast here, just used it on that last team fight. Shadvin does not have Meteor M available, though. He's gonna get res back up by Little Red Corvette. It's still a 6v5 at the moment until he comes back here. Century Aces, like you mentioned, Invisible Boundary available. Final Judgment here, and they're gonna combo it instead without the Soul Resurgence. They're gonna combo it with the Final Judgment here. There we go. Robotunes, though, with the Heartbreaker in the back line on top of the Legendary. Meteor M does get popped by Asian Panda, unfortunately, not able to land on anybody, and your boy Squeak is cleaning up the fight. He's gotten Chaos Nix and Century Aces in the back. 10 seconds left. Can somebody touch? Will they be able to get the TP off? Chaos Nix has swapped over to the Doctor Strange here, Ceebee.
There is going to be a touch. We got the Eternal Bond and the God of Thunder both happening on the point there, but the TP is not going to be enough, and Shadvin is going to shut down the Eternal Bond with a Meteor M.
Where's the TP?
It looks so terrible right now for Texas A&M. Yeah, the TP is not where it needs to be. You need to get the soldiers to the front line, but both teleporters are there. Soul Resurgence, though, from Han Solo. There is still a chance for Texas A&M, and ATU, they don't have the tools to punish that mistake. They've lost their Luna Snow. It's going to be rezzed back up, but the momentum has swung back in Texas A&M's favor. They just need to hold on to it a little bit longer, and Garlo goes in deep to try and do just that.
Garlo playing with his life right now, trying to get back in here. Your boy Squeak at 75% on that Galactic Legend here. No ultimates available. This is as dry as a fight can be. Somebody needs to break. Somebody needs to budge here. Texas A&M trying to push it to overtime here. ATU, they want to go home. They're tired. They're hungry. They're sleepy. And your boy Squeak does have the Legendary available along with the Heartbreaker. This was the combo that won them the last team fight. Can they do it again? Nothing available. God of Thunder gets put down by Garlo. Your boy Squeak takes down Han Solo, and there we go. Little Red Corvette takes down Garlo. ATU Green, they want to go home. They want to end this. Time is on the slippery barrels here. Dizzard has the Invisible Boundary available. Little Red Corvette does take your boy Squeak back here. Lariat Donald, though, Eternal Bond here. CYA, this is where Little Red Corvette needs to come up big right now. This is the deciding moment.
There's going to be a lot more ults online coming out for Texas A&M, though. They have Invisible Boundary. Century Ace is going to pop it on the point to try and defend against the damage coming out from the CYA. Meteor M from Shadvin. The damage is there. Takes down Chaos Nix, but now the Meteor M from Asian Panda has to be bigger, and a Soul Resurgence is going to be coming out from Han Solo here very shortly, so it is a ticking time bomb still, and ATU have not been able to put this one to bed. Texas A&M, they just won't go away.
Soul Resurgence for Han Solo Hub kindly responded with the fate of both worlds. Meteor M unfortunately cannot land on anybody. Asian Panda whiffs, and all the meanwhile, your boy Squeak potentially has another Galactic Legend available along with the Heartbreaker for Robotunes. We're gonna go this song and dance one more time. Heartbreaker into the backline. Robotunes trying to put this game away. Your boy Squeak says, hold up, I've got one in the back pocket. Galactic Legend takes down two. They're still trying to contest this last sliver of overtime. Can they put the game down? ATU Green struggling, and finally they take back control of the point. A 3-0 finish. ATU Green take the series.
There was, what more is there to say? We said it all twice. We ran through two entire team fights worth and one right there, and it was off of the back of some crazy plays on both sides. It's a 3-0, but Texas A&M at the midnight hour really made ATU work for that one. Your boy Squeak popping that Galactic Legend, and even ultless, the backline is able to patty cake around the Cloak and Dagger, the light explosions, the dagger storms, being able to just live through all of that and then win out the duel with that Cloak and Dagger. Lariat Donald able to win that one out and then come back with the Eternal Bond to buy a little bit more stall. I like to think if that strange TP had been as it needed to be, there might have been a chance for Texas A&M. They could have got those soldiers to the front line a little bit faster. They could have maybe kept the tempo going, but it just was never in their favor, especially once those Heartbreakers started to get layered on with the Galactic Legends, because that takes away the ult charge. That takes away the opportunity for someone like Chaos Nix to build up to that final judgment, try and be the difference maker in the way that your boy Squeak was the entire time. Hats off to Texas A&M for being so resilient at the end. That's the kind of Marvel Rivals that I love to see. But I got to put my hat right back on and then take it off again for ATU Green for a dominant showing, a 3-0, and a cinematic finish to Spider Islands.
I mean, that was immaculate from Texas A&M. The trickling in, understanding how to stall. I mean, they were living longer. They lived so long. Squeak and Robotunes got two full ultimates. Heartbreaker and Galactic Legend. Okay, Galactic Legend makes sense. DPS. Getting two Heartbreakers in a endgame team fight, absolutely nuts. Very well played from Texas A&M and ATU Green. Your curse is stronger than mine. 2 3-0 sweeps for Series 1 and Series 2. ATU Green move on to 1-0, and obviously Texas A&M move on to 0-1. But just like last series, right? I feel like both of these teams.
I just know what's going to happen is next week you and Vaudable are going to pick up these mics and you're going to get like two back-to-back bangers. You're going to have map 5s. You're going to be blowing out your vocal cords. I'm going to be sitting over here all mad. Like, I wish that were me. I wish I could cast 4 maps in a series just once.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Vaudable, I apologize. Again, I think your theory might be right, Ceebee. It might be a week-to-week thing. Odd weeks, 3-0s. Even weeks, we get 5-game bangers here. But regardless, both teams did a very good job. Both series were very exciting. If anybody just looks at the box score, I think it tells a very different story from what we saw from both of these squads today. Very, very well played from these guys. ATU Green just coming out on top against Texas A&M, and obviously Albany coming out on top as well. But that'll do it from us. Ceebee, any final words, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank?
I mean, my final words are that, hey, this is only the first week of the new semester, my friends. You know, whether you're Trent or whether you're Texas A&M, and, you know, maybe you're like, okay, we got swept 3-0. There's still time to course correct, and there's still a lot of potential for both of these squads to come correct and, you know, maybe take it to these teams. Maybe get the better of ATU. Maybe get the better of Albany next time we all square up. But next time you see us over here on the NECC channel is going to be tomorrow for some Rainbow Six and some Rocket League. I hope you are down for a little bit of that. If that ain't your bag, then maybe you can join us Thursday for a little bit of League of Legends. And, you know, Friday, we got a special treat for you as well. There's some Overwatch action to be had, so don't go anywhere all week long. NECC has got you covered for collegiate esports aplenty. And if today was anything to go off of, I'm sure it's going to be bangers all around.
Well, that's beautiful. Got the schedule, got the thanks, got everything. Shout out to our production, Chippy, Christina on the socials, and obviously reach that as our observer. But I've been Shibby. That's been Ceebee. Thank you so much, and have a great, great rest of your night.